All right, let's dive in. Today, we're on a mission to crack the creative code. We're going to uncover the hidden rules that connect two worlds that seem miles apart, and you'll see how the very same principles can lead to incredible success in both.
I know, it sounds a little bit like a trick question, right? But the answer, well, it reveals a really powerful truth about any creative process, whether you're working with something as tangible as fabric and thread, or something as abstract as culture and psychology. So let's start with the stitches. So first up, we're heading into the surprisingly deep and complex world of applique. And look, this is way more than just sewing a patch on a jacket. It's a precise language with a very specific set of rules. And if you don't learn that language, you're heading for a complete disaster. So what is applique digitizing really? At its heart, it's about writing instructions for a robot. It's the bridge between your creative idea and the final physical thing. You're literally translating a design into a set of commands that tell the machine exactly where to place the fabric, how to tack it down, and how to finish the stitches. Now, you've probably heard of embroidery. The key difference here is that embroidery builds up a design using nothing but thread. That can get really dense and it takes a lot of time. Appliqué, on the other hand, is smarter. It uses a piece of fabric for the big areas and then just uses stitches for the edges and the details. That makes it way faster, lighter, and it gives you that cool layered texture. I love this quote from the pros in the field. Why stitch what you can fabric? It just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. It's all about efficiency and using the right tool for the job instead of just trying to brute force a design with thousands and thousands of tiny stitches. Okay, so the process itself, on the surface, seems pretty simple. It breaks down into 4 main steps. First, the machine does a little outline stitch to show you exactly where to place your piece of fabric. Then it does another stitch to tack that fabric down. After that, you step in, you manually trim away all the extra fabric. And finally, the machine comes back in for the grand finale, laying down that beautiful, clean cover stitch that finishes the edge.
But, and this is a big but, it is not that simple. If you ignore the hidden rules, the physics of it, right? Thread tension, fabric stability, stitch density, you get this. Puckering, the sworn enemy. The fabric just wrinkles and bunches up into a total mess. See, success isn't just about following the steps, it's about deeply understanding the materials you're working with and respecting the language of the machine.
So we've seen how important precision and understanding those hidden rules are when you're working with fabric. Now, let's zoom out and find the common thread, pun intended, that connects this craft to a much, much bigger stage. And there it is. The connection is this idea of unseen rules. With applique, it's the physics of fabric and thread. But in our next example, it's the invisible structure of human culture. And this is the pivot. Just think about it for a second. If you feed an embroidery machine the wrong code, the design fails. It's ruined. So what happens when you feed an entire culture a message that's written in the wrong code? Well, it fails just as spectacularly.
And that brings us to our second case study, the language of culture. Now here, the hidden rules aren't about tension and stabilizers. They're about the deeply ingrained, often unconscious values that shape how entire societies see the world.
Now, the key to decoding this cultural language is a framework with a bit of a mouthful of a name, Kluckhohn and Strodbeck's value orientation theory. But all it is, really, is a tool. It's a tool that helps us understand why people in different cultures decide what's important or what's funny or what's offensive, often without even realizing it. It's like finding the source code, the operating system for that culture. Okay, let's make this real. Let's look at what happens when you completely ignore these cultural rules. A few years back, a huge footwear brand launched the exact same ad campaign in 3 different parts of the world, and the results were chaotic. And this is where it all just clicks into place. The original ad was all about individual autonomy, be your own person. That message worked great. It even overperformed in Western Europe. But when they ran that same ad in South and East Asia, where the core cultural value is often the community, the group, not the individual, that message was, at best, confusing. And in East Asia, it was an outright failure. But look what happened. Once they changed the message to be about community uplift, sales in those regions doubled. They finally started speaking the right language. So how do you actually get this right? Well, the theory gives us a pretty clear 3-step process. First, you have to diagnose the culture's dominant values. You can't just guess. Second, you align your message with that worldview. And third, you have to anticipate how people are going to emotionally react based on those deep-seated values. It's all about creating resonance, not just shouting your message into the void.
Okay, so we've gone from a sewing machine all the way to a global strategy meeting. Let's tie this all together now with the one big universal takeaway.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Culture. Just like the choice of fabric in an applique design, it's not just some decoration you sprinkle on top at the end. It is the fundamental structure. It's the backbone that gives the whole thing meaning. If you ignore it, you're building on sand.
So this is it. This is the key. It doesn't matter if you're trying to stop a t-shirt from puckering or trying to stop a billion-dollar ad campaign from failing. The path to success is exactly the same. You have to identify, respect, and master the unseen rules of whatever system you're working in. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. In your work, in your life, whatever your projects are, what are the invisible rules? What's the unspoken language that's secretly shaping your outcomes? Because once you start looking for them, that's when you can finally start to master them.